Hello and welcome to a 3v3 cast on patch 2.5. Starting off in the top side, we have Dark Riku on that Warlock. In mid we have Fr33man1800 on that Lord Commissar, and at the bottom we have Max Power on that Force Commander. Now for the opposite team, we have Indrid playing as the Plague Champion, we have Brawler playing as the Warlock, and we have Final Push playing as the Techmarine. And already some action going down bottom between the Force Commander and the Plague Champion himself. And the Force Commander now switching over to these Heretics. Heretics get the Doom Blast here onto the Force Commander to slow him down, suppress him. And don't know if you guys can notice already, but you can see the Force Commander portrait has been changed from Captain Diomedes to Gabriel Angelos now. You can see it over here onto the right hand side of the user interface, and already a scout model going down here for Max Power. DCSM trying to force melee on the scouts, will end up retreating away though. The scouts also retreating away. Heretics coming in though onto these Tactical Marines. Tactical Marines look like they're running towards the bunker, and so they actually back away. These Heretics don't even Doom Blast these Tactical Marines, and Heretics received some big changes in the most recent patch 2.5. They had their damage reduced, their attacks from 24 melee on hit to 20, their Doom Blast was reduced from 25 down to 15, and their cost was also reduced from 210 down to 190, so some big changes there. Meanwhile, in top we have the Warlock here for Dark Riku jumping in onto these Tactical Marines. Shotgun Blast from these scouts off Final Push, losing the scout model to some Dire Avengers. No Banshees here for Riku, so Shotgun Blast is used onto the Warlock instead, since he is the only melee here, and some Banshees coming in from the flank here for Brawler. Could have maybe attacked that Warlock there, but it's trying to go after some Dire Avengers. These Banshees though struggling to find a target. Dire Avengers inside the building will be immune, and these Dire Avengers running away will probably run into a building themselves as well. And Banshees will get forced off here. Final Push pushing up here. Could see him get some early flamers, could even see him get a scout grenade. These Banshees trying to run away, will run away. No grenades on retreat just yet for either the players, and Dire Avengers just resume back inside of this building. Final Push not having the resources right now to actually purchase a flamer. Or actually he does have enough resources, but is going to hold off on that for now. Meanwhile, in the bottom, Max is pushing in very aggressively here against Indrid, pushing up almost outside the base, almost inside turret's range as well. Force Commander though, just outside turret range, is running back to base, retreating very low, and Noise Marines going to interrupt these scouts as well, and it's going to be a full retreat down here for Max. Meanwhile, Freeman and Riku pushing up in the top against Final Push's power, or Red Team's power, it's not just his, while also capping the victory point at the same time. We also have the Warlock, looks like he's going to go in for the center at requisition points, or he might even just join into combat, but we will see. Meanwhile, the forces of Brawler and Final Push here are going to move up. Brawler's going to occupy this building with Guardian Weapons team, and there's currently no grenades. Well, actually, I say that. Grenade just came in here for Riku. As soon as they entered inside the building, one grenade getting thrown. Going to do some nice damage. We do have the aspect of the Avenger upgrade coming in onto the second Dire Avenger squad to throw a grenade. Meanwhile, Banshees leaping into combat. They are also getting healed up by the channeling runes of the Warlock. Guardian Weapons team still inside that building has tanked 2 grenades so far, and still remains set up inside that building. And it's going to be a full retreat here for a Brawler, with the exception of his Guardian Weapons team that remains set up inside this building. That's actually going to force Riku away. Brawler's Warlock could also go down. He is very low right now, 15 HP, and he will be able to get away. Meanwhile, Guardian Weapons team versus Guardian Weapons team, one inside the building, one not inside the building, and one inside the building will probably win. But this Guardian Weapons team will actually take reduced courage damage because it is behind some cover right now, so you don't see it gain suppressed until it actually leaves the cover. And that was another change in 2.5. You can have a look at the full changelog though on the forums. These double attacks here for Final Push going to struggle pushing up here, and are forced away. That Guardian Weapons team just set up in the face of them is going to make it very difficult. Catachins could have nearly killed these scouts if it wasn't for that Sergeant upgrade, I think, or Unreliable may have been on cooldown there for Freeman. Grenade going down, going to hit some Noise Marines, Tactical Marines forcing melee onto these Noise Marines, actually take down a model with a single punch there, but these attacks kind of getting overwhelmed by these aspiring champion Heretics as they come in. Could lose a second Tactical Marine model. These Flamer Tactical Marines trying to come in, trying to force some melee onto these Heretics. They will also need to back away. They do lose a model, could lose a second model. Doom Blast is on cooldown though. and looks like they'll be able to get away with. You actually have the Iron Halo here for max power, so he is going to be extremely tanky on this Force Commander. The only thing to make him even more tanky would be an Artificer's Armor, which gives extra energy, health, and health regen. The Force Commander is going to get kited around here to play champion, and the CSM play champion with his damage over time bolt, so you do need to be careful when retreating away against damage over time, because it can be very deceiving on retreat. And in fact, Force Commander could go down here. He will go down. That damage over time is incredibly strong in the Plague Champion, and also melee damage from Heretics with the Aspiring Champion can be quite annoying on retreat as well. But do actually have a very aggressive push here from Freeman and Riku, even a bunker down here as well. No upgrades on this bunker. Okay, it's just upgraded to a medical bunker. So Freeman and Riku will be able to hold their position up here and be able to reinforce on the field. You also see the healing aura around them. Some scouts here for a final push could interrupt Riku's Guardian Weapons team, but they get a bit close here. The Sentinel is in detection range, detects those scouts, and Guardian Weapons team will shred them apart without taking too much damage itself, and also with the healing bunker nearby, it'll just be able to reinforce any models that were lost. An aspect of fleetness Banshees here for a Brawler, which is kind of an interesting choice. Normally do see aspect of strength, but some guardsmen here going down for Freeman on a retreat path. There's the problem with going in so aggressively. You can get flanked much easier the closer you push into the enemy's base, and in fact Brawler's just going to go straight here for the power while they actually occupy the enemy power. Max is actually in base right now. Force Commander was repurchased by the looks of it. Doesn't look like he was resurrected, since both commanders are very aggressive here at the power for a blue team, and Indrid is actually capped Bossman's, making his way towards top. IED down here. Needs to be a bit careful that you don't want your Heretics to melee that down, as that does actually happen sometimes, not by choice, but the AI just automatically attacking anything nearby. Now Force Commander getting in here is actually getting suppressed, and Havocs are setting up as well. These double tactical Marines will get suppressed by these Heretics. Heretics will force off one squad, the second squad will actually remain set up. In fact, these Heretics getting forced off, taking a lot of damage actually, and leading quite a few models here. A drop pod coming in as well. Max is on triple tactical Marines now, so we could see some heavy upgrades in tier 2. In fact, we could actually see triple plasmas or something a bit more crazy like that, where it would actually destroy all the heavy infantry that Indrid has in the form of the Aspiring Champion on Heretics, the CSM, Noise Marines, and Havocs. So it could be interesting to see in tier 2. Now Brawler taking down this power node. We also have a webway gate getting built in the corner, which I'm not sure blue team has spotted. They have spotted these Banshees obviously, as they are tearing down that power node, and these Banshees might be in a bit of trouble. There's some grenades ready on retreat path. Warlock is also here. Banshees, they don't really want to run into this gate and give away that gate's position, since it's a very difficult gate to place as a Warlock, and as a Farsight you have Farsight, that's fine, but as Warlock you don't have such a thing. Now the IED finally getting destroyed here by Indrid. Max is actually pushing down towards the bottom. This power's still occupied. We also have the bunker that actually went down here. Some retreat grenades could be possible here for Brawler. It looks like he's thrown some grenades down. 2 grenades. Both of them unfortunately not wiping that guardsman squad. They will get away. In fact, only 2 models died. 1 for each grenade there by the looks of things. And Indrid is pushing in. These Heretics were worshipping. They could have maybe killed those guardsmen. Play champion will need to back away. Does actually have defeated armor, which is something you don't actually see as often in comparison to the armor of Pestilence. Now some scouts here could actually have a retreat grenade. Will be slightly too late. We'll catch out a few Heretic models however, and still do some nice damage. But Heretics will be backing away. Heretics I think do cost less to reinforce now. I believe it's only 11, maybe we can see here, yep, 11 requisition to reinforce now that they've actually had their cost reduced. This webway gate still up and active here for a Brawler, but red team have not used it. In fact, red team still don't actually have their power up top, but Indrid has actually been in control of the power in bottom, and that has helped close the gap a little bit, but still not close the gap fully enough. You actually have some grenades trying to stop these Banshees from closing the melee, but the grenades are slightly too late. In fact, grenades don't actually hit anything. Looked like it was actually going to do a bit more friendly fire damage, but didn't seem to do that much either. Triple tax here for Max into P. There's still no upgrades on these tactical Marines. Could actually get some triple plasmas, which is actually a build that hurts Chaos quite a lot since they have a lot of heavy infantry. But we do see that everyone's taking up to tier 2, except for Riku's actually taking up to tier 3. He's just going to skip tier 2 completely, go for that tier 3 rush. Fetid armor, very nice all gear though, against the Force Commander just to suppress him. And Fetid armor does 300 courage damage. It will suppress anything. Even units with extra courage will get suppressed. Here's a very strong armor to counter melee units and stop them from getting this track. Now P-Devs could actually land a shot here on these heretics. Ooh, very nice shot here, and Tack's going to force melee. These heretics could actually go down completely. 10 HP. These Tack should be able to finish it off, even the P-Dev shot as well, but the P-Dev shot doesn't actually do anything. It actually hits Max's own tactical marines there by accident, but the heretics will go down here for Indrid. Some Stern Guard veterans here for a final push. We do see that Riku is actually lacking units because of this tier 3 rush. He actually cancelled tier 3 and is restarting his tier 3 purchase. I'm not sure why he actually cancelled it, maybe that was a bit of a mistake. Max Power also going tier 3. Indrid buying some bloodletters, and he will need to replace his heretics if he is going to be purchasing some bloodletters, since they rely very heavily on worship. And Brawler and final push just going for a bit of a tier 2 army. Some Wraith Guard, a Razorback, some Stern Guards, and Ruben is also buying some heavy weapons teams. They're not really a tier 2 unit, but they have tier 2 upgrades in the form of a last cannon and an auto cannon. Could actually see an auto cannon. Very effective weapon against all kinds of targets, vehicles, infantry, and also gives it a bit of extra range as well in comparison to the regular heavy bolter. P-Devs just remaining set up down here. Power is remaining neutral with a power at bottom also noded. The second one is also unloaded or uncapped by anyone. Sandguard Baron's pushing in here with some Razorback support. Final push with his Techmarine here. Level 3 is going to struggle against the amount of infantry here. We need to actually pull his units back out of here. Everything inside the Razorback. And looks like things will leave Guardsmen also with Plasmas. We have some Bloodletters coming in here for Indrid. Only problem is that there is actually no worship for these bloodletters available, but they're not actually fighting any kind of melee counter. Although Catechins are here, and Catechins could actually do a lot of damage, along with the Lord Commissar with the Aura of Discipline and Bionic Eye. That could actually be a lot of trouble for these bloodletters to handle. Some P-Devs landing some nice shots though onto the Plague Champion and these Noise Marines, and Max will actually force Indrid off with the help of some Guardsmen up here. Now these Guardsmen are backing away here. Fr33man, they're actually getting quite low. Last cannon is executed with the Bionic Eye, but the Razorback has dropped some smoke down, so it's taking some reduced damage from that last cannon. But one more shot, actually 2 more shots. But the last cannon actually goes down before the Razorback dies, and the Razorback will live. Some mines on the ground. No detection here for Red Team. They will need to get some detection, otherwise they're just going to keep running over these mines and taking damage. Now, those mines did come in from the Lord Commissar Global. We do have some Bloodletters teleporting in here for Indrid, but these Bloodletters are extremely low right now, only 500 HP, but it's actually going to be enough to force Max away. Force Commander is not nearby to actually fight these Bloodletters in melee. There's still no Heretics here for Indrid, and I feel like he should actually get some, and it would really help out, really give his Bloodletters some more effectiveness. Now final push having to back away his tags and Sandguard Veterans. We do actually have a hollow field here. D-Cannon though for Riku, he did rush tier 3, and so did Max as well. And Max has actually got some Terminates out. Distortion is going to go down as well. Or Singularity, sorry, it's not called Distortion. Singularity will miss. D-Cannon is running away. Some grenades getting thrown down will land on these Guardsmen and Catechins. Razorback back into the fight as well. A bit of bleed going on down here. We actually have the Terminator Force Commander here for Max Power. It wasn't Terminators, it was actually a Terminator Force Commander. But Catechin's pushing in. They do have the Melter Gun, so Razorback will need to be careful. It only has 400 HP, and that Melter Gun with the Bionic Eye can actually do quite a bit of damage, in fact. Well, Catechins do become very scary with the Bionic Eye upgrade, plus 3 speed, plus 3.5 speed, sorry, damage output by 100. And also heals all the units that do get executed. And Bionic Eye and all kinds of executions for Lord Commissar have been made more reliable this patch, because sometimes in the previous patch they would bug out, and in this patch they should be a bit more reliable. Lord Commissar getting some nice bug fixes. He also actually is able to benefit from green cover now, because he was not able to benefit from cover beforehand, which is a weird bug which you don't really notice too much. I guess you don't see Commissars in cover that much. But Havoc's getting forced away here for Indrid. Does actually have some Noise Marines with a Blastmaster inside this bunker. They won't last too long with these Flame Tactical Marines actually burning down this building. One model gets thrown out there. Some grenades getting thrown here for Riku. That Noise Marine squad could be dead, but he will actually be able to scrape out of there with 60 HP. Meanwhile, push up top. Another Distortion going to go down. Another Singularity, sorry, going to go down. I keep actually saying that. But the D-Cannon is actually forced away before it can finish casting its Singularity, and this power now for a blue team is in a bit of trouble. We also have these Bloodletters being very sneaky, getting a decap onto this natural VP here. And the Bloodletters are just going to phase shift and try and walk away from here. But his base turret is actually not going to be able to get in range of the Bloodletters. Bloodletters retreat away anyway. so they're fine, but this army of Final Push and Brawler is going to tear down this generator farm. Razorback in mid, going to force away the Warlock of Riku, and Max Power is going to recap that VP. Riku's also going to go and cap the forward, or the enemy's natural VP and natural requisition. Noise Marines and Havocs will have something to say though about this requisition point, and will be able to stop them from actually getting a cap, but still a decap will hurt quite a bit since that requisition point was fully matured. Now CSM and Blade Champion going to be forced away here. That Terminator with the assault cannon is going to be strong. Terminator Force Commander doing 59.7 range DPS, and also keeping the Power Fist as well, so you can actually do quite a lot in melee. In fact, is heavy melee similar to, well, standard Power Fist. Power Fist doesn't change in Terminator with the upgrades, with the exception of Lightning Claws. They replace the Power Fist with 2 Lightning Claws. But anyway, we do actually have a big push here from Brawler. These Catagens could go down here for Freeman. Wraithguard also pushing in as well. They're actually incredibly fast right now. Last Cannon is trying to set up on the Fire Prism from Riku. Does also need to be careful. These Wraithguard do have fire on the move now, so they actually could fire onto this Fire Prism. The Fire Prism doing a nice job of knocking some units back. Looks like it's using the single beam instead of the dispersed beam though. And single beam is better against single targets. Dispersed beam is better for AoE and for trying to knock back as many units as possible. These Wraithguard though trying to get in some decent shots. The Lord Commissar is trying to tie him up, and now the Warlock is also going to take his place. The Warlock does have the Witchblade Acurnus, which was actually buffed in the most recent patch. Actually does a bit more damage now, up from about 60 melee DPS, 60 power melee DPS to 70 power melee DPS now, making it a much more effective weapon overall. Bloodletters though, coming in here onto these P-Devs, will actually be able to force melee on him. The Terminator Force Commander though is also going to be forcing melee onto these Bloodletters, and that Power Fist is doing a lot of work, taking down 2 models there on retreat, and some Chaos Terminators getting called in here for Indrid. Chaos Terminators did actually have their also cannon range reduced in the previous, or in this patch as well. So we'll see if he upgrades to the auto cannon. Could even see the lightning claws upgrade as well, given that there's a lot of heavy infantry here for Max, and lightning claws are extremely effective against heavy infantry. This Dire Avenger is actually getting tossed around right now. Will get knocked back by some P-Devs inside this building for final push, and will eventually die. So Riku down to just a single Dire Avenger squad to support this Fire Prism that he has. This VP still remains uncapped right now. Some P-Devs do have to set up. They do actually need to fight off this small force of Indrids here before actually going for the cap. Meanwhile, the top VP is still under control of Red Team. 287 VPs to 216. We actually have the army here stealthed for a Brawler, but that will actually run out. Cloak of Shadows on that Warlock is going to stealth that army, but in fact it's actually going to stealth the army once again. Dire Avengers though gained 4 stuff. That P-Dev shot was nasty. It looks like the army is seen here, but the Fist of Brockus, None Shall Fall, is activated. The Lord Commissar needs to get focused down. Emperor's Wrath though is going to destroy these Dire Avengers and Wraithguard. The Lord Commissar needs to be the target to get focused down. Banshee is focusing down this last cannon, but the None Shall Fall ability is still active unless the Lord Commissar goes down. Okay, but everyone's in retreat now, so every unit is now vulnerable. Banshee still chasing down that Lord Commissar. He's on 7 HP, 6 HP, 5 HP. He might even die to Shuriken Pistols, but the Fire Prism actually gets the knockback when he's on 1 HP. And that Fire Prism with a dispersed beam will actually be able to knock back the Banshees and Warlock and let Lord Commissar live. However, the Warlock might not be as lucky. In fact, he will be as lucky. And some Decan is going to do some work here. Meanwhile, the Terminator Force Commander might try and pick off some models there with that Power Fist. Bloodletter's teleporting in once again onto these P-Devs, and we do actually have a Land Raider Redeemer here for Max. Now these P-Devs take a lot of damage, but they will live overall. Bloodletter's is getting extremely low. The Land Raider Redeemer is side-mounted flamers now doing courage damage as well, so you can actually see that suppressing units. You might see players be a bit more aggressive with their Land Raider Redeemers now in this patch. And we actually do have those triple plasma guns as well on these tactical marines. Very efficient counter against these Chaos Terminators, who will struggle against the amounts of plasma damage coming out. Plasma guns doing bonus damage to super heavy infantry. Just doing a lot of damage to heavy infantry and super heavy infantry in fact. So Indrid will need to be careful with those Terminators. None shall fall once again, but we do actually have a singularity going off on the army here, and I don't know if Freeman's noticed it. He does notice now. And his entire unit squad is, all his units are extremely low. None Shall Fall. None Shall Fall is now non-active as he just gets sniped by some Wraithguard here, but some Shotgun Blast though from some Catagens will be saving that last cannon heavy weapons team. Some Tactical Marines here from Max will disappear. I'm not actually sure where they went. Looks like they do retreat away. It was just that one model that was very far forward that got popped. but he still does have his triple tactical marines. Everyone's retreating back to Land Raider Redeemer. Bloodlayer struggling to snipe these P-devs once again. Bloodlayer is actually not fire resistant infantry, so they're just regular infantry, so they will take slightly extra damage from that Land Raider Redeemer, who does a lot of damage, a lot of flame damage with those side mounted flamers. We do see that Lord Commissar did get risen there by the Warlock of Riku, and it both retreating back to base. And we could actually see a push on this power hit, final push, pushing in with the Stern Guards, Terminators with the Cyclone Missile Launcher and some regular tactical marines with no upgrades on them whatsoever. Max with his scouts going to throw a grenade onto this last cannon Havoc squad inside this building, and Avatar is now out for a brawler. Avatar is also getting built for Riku, and these side-mounted flames are going to do so much damage to any unit inside the building. Scouts actually getting inside that Land Raider Redeemer. They don't want to get caught out, or don't want to end up dying. Looks like Terminators are going to force melee into this Land Raider Redeemer. They're actually bleeding quite a few models here. As they bleed quite a few models, they did bleed one model to these triple plasma attacks, doing so much damage. And again, triple plasma attacks will do a lot of damage to this Avatar as well, who is also super heavy infantry. And these tactical marines are also leveled as well, level 3, level 2, so they do actually get extra damage when they level up. So this could actually be extremely dangerous for the Avatar and Terminators of Indrid. Some scouts here, a final push, very aggressively throwing a grenade, but they will be able to barely get out there. The Terminator Force Commander, in fact, upgrading to the Lightning Claws upgrade. Again, power melee, also effective against heavy infantry and super heavy infantry. Force Commander can also retreat away. Very nice combination there. The Cyclone Missile Launcher into a Plasma Grenade of the Dire Avengers. That was actually really nicely done. Don't know if that was intended or not. And second Tactical Marine Squad is going to go down here for a max. This third Tactical Marine Squad is also very low. Wraithguard doing a lot of work. That's 3 Tactical Marine Squads down here for a max. That's quite an expensive loss here. And the Force Commander is also going to go down. The army here of Freeman is also pushing up against these Terminators. These Terminators of Indrid do need to be careful. In fact, Warlock is also going to get res on that Terminator Force Commander here. We do have a Warp Throw coming in. None Shall Fall is activated though on that Lord Commissar. So none of these models should die. And they can also reinforce anyway from the Land Raider Redeemer if they're close. Wailing Doom though could be painful. Will be painful. It will take a lot of damage. Or will deal a lot of damage to some Cassians, but this Avatar is extremely low, and the Avatar is coming in here for Riku as well. And that Avatar will go down. It's just going to be too much plasma damage, power melee damage, and heavy melee damage from these Assault Terminators as well. Terminators doing quite a good job here. Just killing it as much as they can in range. They do also demoralize the enemy as well upon kill, the opposite of inspiration from Space Marines. But these Terminators extremely low. Do you need to teleport out there? And I believe that teleport is on cooldown. We'll bleed a model here. Might even bleed a second model to the Warlock here. With the Witchblade Colonus doing power melee. Assault Terminator is going to be teleporting away here. Final push is pushing in. We do actually have a Manticore Strike though. And that Razorback will go down. Looks like the Terminators of Indrid will live. They are synced between the bases now, regenning as much health as they can. The Avatar for Riku though still going around. Librarian coming out for max, and that's a very good choice with the Assault Terminators. The Librarian with the Gates of Infinity ability allows your Terminators to teleport in aggressively, and then you can use your Librarian to teleport them out safely. And the Librarian becomes a, as just a complete support unit rather than a in fighting. As it's not a combat unit. But Bloodlayers jumping onto the Avatar. Bloodlayers can actually do okay against an Avatar if they have some worship support. They do quite a lot of power melee DPS, but they don't actually have any worship support available, so they are backing away quite early. This Terminator Force Commander with Lightning Claws. No assaults. The Assault Terminators don't have their Lightning Claw upgrade yet. They might actually guess it later on. That Terminator Force Commander getting quite low. Smite going down onto the army. A final push didn't actually do too much damage there, and I'm not sure why. Manticore Strike though going to be very painful. These Terminators not retreating away because they can't retreat away. They do actually take 2 Manticore missiles to the face and take quite a lot of damage. Cyclone Missile Barrage. Wraithguard going inside this building, but Land Raiders are just going to push up now and use those side-mounted flames to get those Wraithguard outside the building. So that was a little bit of a mistake there for Brawler. And they are very low, but it looks like they should live. Emperor's Wrath going to go down onto these Terminators. Going to miss the Terminator, but it does actually do a lot of damage to these Wraithguard though. And these Manticores are pushed up extremely aggressively here for Freeman. Do need to be careful. Indrid could easily come in with his Terminators and actually take them out with the autocannon, or even with the Power Fist. Although you don't really want to get your Chaos Terminators that close to the Manticore, because the entire army will decimate them if they get too close. These Assault Terminators positioning a bit weirdly. the two models are not following that lead model, and the Gate of Infinity is actually having to get used just to get them out of here because they're pathing kind of weirdly around that building. A Manticore strike though onto these Terminators, they will need to teleport away. The double Manticore is doing a very good job of denying red team this VP. Cyclone Missile Barrage coming in, it's actually going to miss slightly. It actually kind of flies over these guardsmen, and the Warlock is going to go in, and with the guardsman support it's going to force away the Stern Guards attacks and these Terminators. Land Raider is actually making its way towards the top side of the map. These Catachans may be a bit aggressive here, they're a bit lone, and Cloak of Shadows Warlock coming in once again. Cloak of Shadows was fixed in this patch, and the Lord Commissar could actually go down. Catachans also backing away. Graveguard though for Riku, doing a nice amount of work. These Bloodletters extremely low, do need some worship support I think still. Heretics are cheaper now, so you can definitely buy some Heretics later on in the game. And do actually have the Providence armor. The Warlock is invulnerable now, but the Warlock is definitely not immune to knockback. In fact, the Warlock might actually go down here. Manticore Strike is going to go down onto these Terminators. Ooh, and these Terminators might... Okay, they will barely live there with 100 HP on one model. Assault Terminators fighting some Shotgun Scouts. Assault Terminators should win that fight pretty handily. In fact, these Scouts for a final push are going to barely get away there. That D-Cannon nearly wiping that squad completely. The Cyclone Missile Launcher Terminators back on the field along with the Stern Guards and Tax. Some Dire Avengers here for Brawler just sprinting for that VP. 111 VPs to 150. He's only going to be met by a lot of Guardsmen here, especially with the Flamers and Plasma Guns. It's going to be a bit too much for him to handle. In fact, Cloak of Shadows, we actually have a stealthed Avatar. The Avatar now coming out of stealth. Nothing like a stealthed Avatar walking around the map. That's probably going to be a nice P-Dev shot. Actually getting caught on some strain here. That destroyed War Truck from some earlier battle, presumably. Otherwise, that would have actually been a really nice P-Dev shot, probably landing on the majority of the army. Avatar versus Avatar, though. Riku versus Brawler. Banshee is also on the side of Brawler, though, going to try and help out. And Riku's Avatar is a little bit low, but then there's an entire army and a Land Raider here to actually back up that Avatar. Over this Avatar for Riku still low, still pushing in aggressively here. Stern Guards. Wailing Doom is going to try and go down, but this Avatar on 200 HP. In fact, it looks like it done a little bit more friendly fire damage than enemy damage. With Wailing Doom, we actually do have an Eldritch Storm going down on top of this Land Raider Redeemer, and that Eldritch is just going to insta-give that Land Raider Redeemer. Lord Commissar is also going to go down. That was an extremely painful Eldritch here, and everyone's just having to back away here. Warlock here for Brawler with the Avatar is just going to lead the engagement. We actually have an... Oh god. We actually have an Eldritch just wipe the army of final... Wow, I actually finished the Terminators as well. An Eldritch there for Riku, wiping Terminators, Stern Guards, and Tactical Marines. The Eldritch here for Red Team, giving them the kill on that Land Raider Redeemer. For that was going to be the game changer there, but then Riku just evens it out with an Eldritch of his own. Extremely painful stuff. There's still a webway gate up here, and maybe Red Team can make use of that. Final push is getting Land Raider Redeemer out himself. He did actually have it building for quite some time, and it's almost complete. In fact, he could actually get some Terminators of his own soon. Or could even get a Venerable Dreadnought, but he's probably going to go for Terminators over a Venerable Dread, but I'm not too sure on that. Manticore Strike onto this top VP, trying to prevent Red Team from being able to cap it. Melts Gun onto this Techmarine here. Warlock very low. Very nice Ethereal Slash. As soon as the Banshees leap in, Ethereal Slash are doing a lot of damage. The Warlock will be able to get away here. Very low. And this could be some Terminators here for Max. Some more Terminators here for Max. Otherwise you wouldn't see Red Team backing away like that. Singularity though, going to go down into that Lord Commissar, going to toss them towards his Manticore. In fact, these Terminators pushing in here against this D-Cannon of Brawler. But I think the D-Cannon will live overall. Force Command's also here. In fact, he does a lot of damage, but it's not going to be enough. And some Terminators here for final push as well. Not getting the assault because he's Techmarine. Techmarine does not have access to these assault Terminators. In fact, Max is on 2 assault Terminators right now, and also has a Librarian to support them. But the Librarian can only teleport one squad to safety at a time, so Max will have to choose engagements with the Terminators wisely. And this assault, this Terminator Force Commander is having to back away 100 VPs to 103. The VPs are nearly dead even right now. And we do actually have the stealthed Avatar trying to walk up to that Fire Prism, trying to sneak up to it. This Manticore though could be in a little bit of trouble. In fact, Lord Commissar could also be in trouble. Nunshot Fall is activated once again, and Wailing Doom here is actually going to do quite a bit of damage here to these Terminators. And you see this heavy weapons team with the refractor shield going a bit crazy there. But the Avatar, though, for a brawler, could be in a little bit of trouble with these double assault Terminators here, Librarian and Terminator Force Commander, which is going to be coming out of base fairly soon. Actually, no, he's a little bit low still. But these Terminators here for Indrid lived throughout so much action, still doing quite a bit of damage. The Fire Prism, though, going to shut down these Plague Marines, knocking them over with that dispersed beam cannon. In fact, we have double Lightning Claw Terminators. The Assault Terminators both upgrading to the Lightning Claw upgrade. That's actually going to shred that Avatar if they can get surround. There's Land Raider up here, and these double Assault Terminator squads will need to be a little bit careful. For the Emperor is activated on this one squad, though. And Final Push Terminator will need to be careful. In fact, another Eldritch is going to go down, this time onto the Land Raider. Won't be enough to actually kill it. We'll actually have a really nice rocket run here in like a nice little corridor, doing a lot of damage. In fact, that could be Brawl's army. Goodbye. Dire Avengers will barely live here. Double Terminators pushing in. They will be able to kill that Avatar. The Avatar's trying to do what it can. Don't even know if it could get that ability off. It doesn't. These double assault Terminators doing 420 power melee DPS and even doing splash damage as well. Though the Avatar doesn't take damage from splash, but still. So much damage. We actually have a singularity going off. None Shall Fall is activated as well. It's going to let Dark Riku keep these Wraithguard as well. They would have definitely died by now. And another Avatar out in the field. Plenty of Avatars this game, and plenty of Land Raider Redeemers. The Land Raider Redeemers are all dead right now. That D-Cannon will go down. The Assault Terminators and Terminator Force Commander is just going to be a bit too much power melee on retreat. 81 VPs to 81. Terminator is going to be teleporting away here for Indrid. Lehman Russ now for Freeman. Does need to be careful. There is a Havoc squad pointed right at it. In fact, inside the cone, but they don't actually have vision. But an Avatar is coming in for a flank onto these Havocs, and these Havocs will probably need to get moving. Arc of Zenith CSM will actually do quite some decent damage to this Avatar as well here for Indrid. Bloodletters also having to back away. No worship support. With worship support, you might be able to fight an Avatar for a little bit. But we do actually have a Manticore Strike by the looks of things, and a Wailing Doom as well, so you go with it. The Warp Throw into the Manticore Strike, I think he wanted to Warp Throw into the Wailing Doom, but it didn't look like it actually hit. And this Avatar is actually going to go down here for Riku. And Warlock is going to try and cap this VP. 81 VPs to 49, that Avatar going down is actually quite costly here for blue team, where red team is lacking on units right now. The VP is very close, 81 VPs to 39, 2-0 cap right now for a blue team. We could actually see a large push down here in Boston while Sonic actually caps that VP. Lehman Russ going to show rear armor. Wraithguard coming in as well. This Lehman Russ is definitely going to go down. The Lehman looks like it's on a very poor part of it. Will go down. In fact, it looks like the Fire Prism just took it down. We don't actually have an Orbital Bombardment going to go down, and it will catch out some Wraithguard. It will go on a retreat path, and then will also catch out Freeman's army, but None Shall Fall is activated. We actually have a Emperor's Wrath going to knock back that Play Champion into the move of Final Push here. Lord Commissar will go down. None Shall Fall is no longer activated while Lord Commissar is dead on the ground, but this push for red team isn't going to be in time, and the VPs will bleed away here. 81 VPs to 0. Blue team will take victory this game.